Hello, my friend. In this video, I'm going to talk about the basic information about the revolution of Chinese women's rights. Okay, let's start. In many dynasties of China, women were forbidden inside high walls, like the walls in this picture. In rich families, but not in poor families. Most of women in those days were illiterate. In old China, it was before 1949, women were officially held in low esteem and traditionally regarded unfavorably. Men and women were unequal at home and in society. It was just like this scale. Back then, the women in the rich families were caged like this gold bird, similar to those women in dollhouses in the West. In the poor families, like the one in this picture, their daughter could be sold as a commodity for family needs. You can now look at these three pictures. This is about the feet. Back to those days, Chinese women were considered graceful with small feet by traditional Chinese men, especially in middle and upper class families. You can see from the pictures from different class, they all have small feet. The men value women with small feet in those years. So, how did Chinese women date in those years? How was their marriage? In old China, free dating, like the one in the upper left-hand corner picture, was only a dream. Most were unsuccessful. Why? Because marriage meeting was usually made or arranged by parents before birth, or by a matchmaker later when the daughter grew up. You see, engaged before birth. And this is a matchmaker, a typical Chinese matchmaker. Besides the parents' arrangement and the matchmaker's help, there were some traditional ways to help women to mate, date, and marry, like this Kung Fu contest. Some families in those dynasties, if they do not have son, if they didn't have son in the family, they like to hold a Kung Fu contest to pick up the winner to be their son-in-law. Or they are going to host another kind of event, that is a bride grooming election event. During the event, the daughter stood upstairs, up floor, and threw a kind of embroidered ball to the guys she liked in the crowd under the building. Or she had to marry the guys who caught the ball. There was another popular marriage. It was called 童养媳. 童养媳refers to young girls. Young girls, they were usually bought by rich family for their physically or mentally sick sons, or in lieu of her family's debt. Usually the girl's parents own the rich family's money, so they were unable to pay back, so they had to send their daughter away to the rich families. If unlucky, they are going to marry the son had a problem. If lucky, the son was a normal one. Some rich families even like to buy a Tongyangxi older than their son, since they wanted her to take care of their bedwetted boy or work for the family as a free labor. Look at this picture. This bride was apparently older than this bridegroom. Now, then how about after marriage? Yeah, after marriage, all things the women did at home was taking care of their husband and children, like doing some chore, like this woman was washing her husband's feet. In this kind of marriage, husband beat wives were very common. The domestic violence was very common. A lot of husband was abusive. Some better off families even bought a girl to marry their dad's son. In this case, like the picture on the right, the bride need to process a wedding with a chicken. Do you see the chicken here? The picture on the left showed a widow with her carved wood husband. In old China, widows were not allowed to remarry to others after their husbands died. Instead, they need to live their rest life with a carved wood husband in the homes of their parents-in-law. If a widow refused to do so, she could face punishment. Like this, she was nailed on a woodboard and was sent to the river and let her die naturally. This kind of things often happened in old China, in some part of China. However, after the women gave birth to a baby boy, their fate was changed overnight. Their position and status at home and in society were totally different. Women's fate and fortune completely rely on their sons in old China. Look at this middle-aged woman. She looks very confident and healthy, wealthy, because she had a son besides her. If a woman had a son, his position status would change not only in the common families. It was the same in the palace and king's home. Look at these two pictures. Yes, in old China, the king, most of king had many wives. So if one of his wife, a queen, had the first son who was usually fated to be the future king. So this queen could even control that future king, like here. And if this queen was the favorite one, she could even control or manipulate the present king. applaud and cheer up. The new China was established in 1949. Since then, all women have been officially regarded equal to the men. Even today, in most families in China today, women are the boss. This picture was Chairman Mao's date. After New Year, so the women stood up. They could go to school. They could do any kind of job they wanted, shoulder to shoulder with the man. And this one is today's today's working place. So women and men, they work together happily in any field. So let's change color. Today in China, men do not have to be blue. Women do not have to be pink. They are equal. Look at this scale. They are equal in every aspect of life, at home and also in society. Maybe in the rural country, still the change is still slow. It's still slow, but it already totally different from the old China. How do Chinese women today date? They date themselves, free dating and marriage without parents' engagement, without parents' arrangement. They can go to a dating agency. They can use the newspaper. They can have blind dates. They also can date online. These pictures are from the different decades of the new year. In China today, women can date whoever they like. They can do whatever they want. Nobody can stop them. They are totally free and independent. Look, this lady can date foreigners. This young lady can date the older man. Two women can date each other. Lesbian dating. It is free. So all these changes, processing, we just went through. We see from the dark days to the bright days. So all these things happened. I would like to say we need to thank two men. One is Engels, one is Chairman Mao. All women in the world should thank Engels because he was the first person to advocate free women. And all Chinese women should thank Chairman Mao. He said, women are half of the sky of China. So he gave Chinese women freedom. And this is Xi Jinping, and the current president of China, and his wife. Look, they are equal and respect and carrying each other. Look, Xi Jinping carried the bag for her wife. So lovely. This is my presentation today. Thank you. I'm happy I was born in the new year, in the new China. Thank you for watching, and see you in next video.